Hi everyone, James Clements. I get a lot of people asking me on my website how do they go about getting their first project management job, and I see it come up time and time again in forums like LinkedIn and so forth. People, they have a desire to be a project manager, but they just don't know how to get it started. Most employers clearly want a bit of project management experience. So, how do you break that nexus? Well, I mean, there's two ways really. If you're not in a project type of environment and you're wanting to be employed as a project manager, then there's one route. And conversely, if you're already in an organisation that does projects and you want to become a project manager, then there's a different route. So the first one, if you're not in a project management type of business, let's say you worked in as a florist or something, and you decided you want to go off and be an oil and gas project manager, then there's clearly some difficulties there. But without being flippant, if you're in an unrelated industry, what you're going to need to do is get yourself a qualification. Now, PMP, Master Project Director, all those kind of things with various certification bodies, they're certifications. They are not qualifications. But that doesn't mean that you can't get a job without a certification. And quite frankly, there's certainly an argument to be had that certification is better for a qualification. But in my opinion, getting a qualification, going off to university, to your local college, doing a project management starter course, doing a formal qualification in project management, that would be my first step in getting into project management when you're not actually in the game already. Of course, if you're in an aligned industry, that's going to certainly help a lot. And if you've got a bachelor's degree or something like that, but let's say you don't have any of those things, and you're going in fresh, then certainly I would go for a qualification that you get from your local university or education provider. And then what you really need is you need to demonstrate some leadership ability, and this is where you look at maybe joining a club or getting involved in some community type of things, or at least you can demonstrate that you've taken the lead on a project, whether it be an effort to do something or a pure project or whatever. But if you can show that you've got a project management qualification, so you know how to correctly structure a project, execute a project, at least theoretically, then you've gone out and done some kind of effort that had some level of project management thinking and effort required. At least then you're heading in the right direction to demonstrate to an employer that you've got the right kind of abilities. And to me, project management's a lot about leadership, and if you can show that you're a good leader, then you're a long way down the track to at least snagging a job. Secondly, if you're in an organisation that does projects, then clearly you're in a better position to get started. Now, if I look at myself, 25 years ago when I started project management, I was a draftsman. I started by doing a lot of estimating and so forth for tendering, and then that sort of naturally led me in one particular project I did all of the piping design and the piping procurement, and then it led me to actually getting involved out in the construction of all the pipe work. And it just naturally came to me, I suppose, that I started supervising and leading those guys, and that wasn't lost on my employees. And so really, putting up your hand, standing up when everyone else is sort of trying to avoid getting involved and taking a leadership role, is probably the best thing you can do when you're in an organisation already to get a job as a project manager. And then as time goes by, you continue to do more and more complex type of work, and then when the opportunity presents itself, then you volunteer and say, look, I can project manage that job. And 9 times out of 10, I think that the people that see you taking over a little bit, increasing little bits more of parts of projects, will eventually say, well, this person's ready for a project in their own right. So just recapping, for those people that are not in a project type of environment, get a qualification, get a certification if you think that's better. Certifications theoretically need to have some project management experience to get them, but that's questionable these days. And if you're in a project management environment, put up your hand for the smallest bit of leadership type of role you can. Do it, increase it over time, make sure people understand what you're doing, and then just chip away at it, chip away at it, chip away at it, until you're going to get, eventually, if you do a good job and you're suited to the role, you'll get the job. And of course, any kind of certification, any kind of qualification you can get in parallel to that is going to build your case. So there you go, that's my tips for getting a start in project management. Hope they help. Love to hear some feedback from you if you think that they're good ideas. If there are other ideas, then put them down below in the video. And if anyone achieves some success, feed them back to me. I'd really love to hear. And as you know, I'm always available on email or Skype or anything if you need some coaching or a discussion on how you might go. Thanks a lot.